In this video, I'm going to try Mathew McConaughey's diet that got him to lose 50 pounds in 5 months for his role in Dallas Buyers Club.
I got on a diet where I'd have my tapioca pudding or whatever, 3 eggs in the egg whites in the morning, 5 ounces of fish, cup of vegetables for lunch, 5 ounces of fish, cup of vegetables for dinner, as much wine as I wanted to drink, and I lost 2.5 pounds a week like clockwork, no exercise.
Whoa.
As much wine as you wanted to drink?
Much as I wanted.
What kind of diet is
this?
Exactly what I was thinking, Joe. I'm gonna jump on this diet for a few days, see how much weight I lose, how my physique changes, and how I feel. The first thing I did was check my starting point. This is an extremely restrictive diet, and I think my results will be pretty drastic, even in the short term. It's time to start this Mathew McConaughey style diet. Don't mind the Harry Potter scar. This involves tapioca pudding, egg whites, fish, vegetables, and as much wine as I possibly can drink. I basically have none of that, so I gotta start off by going to the grocery store. Well, I'm all stocked up, ready to make my first meal. First thing on the menu, tapioca pudding and egg whites. Interesting thing is that tapioca pudding apparently contains egg yolks. So I'm having full eggs, but it just in a roundabout way. But never tried tapioca pudding before. It looks delicious, so I'm pumped about that. Well, this is the world's saddest breakfast. Just 3 egg whites. At least we have the tapioca pudding after this, but there's nothing really worse than just egg whites. Eggs are delicious, but if you take out the yolk, you're left with flavorless, gelatinous, nutrient-deficient mush. The tapioca, on the other hand, was sweet, vanilla gelatinous mush. Part 2 of breakfast, the tapioca pudding. It smells great. I burnt a ton of it to the bottom of the pan, so lost a little bit there. But I got the tip to eat it with the smallest spoon possible. Look at this little chicken spoon. To savor it and let it last longer. It kind of feels like you're eating frog eggs or something like that. But it tastes like warm vanilla. The egg whites, pretty rough. This is good. And this is basically the only carbs I'm gonna get all day, other than just a bit of vegetables. This first meal was 468 calories with 76 grams of carbs, 5 grams of fat, and 17 grams of protein. After breakfast, I just sat around and did some work. And this is completely fine on this diet because exercise is not required.
It worked, 2.5 pounds. And it didn't matter if I was going to the treadmill and burning 2,000 calories a day or not, 2.5 pounds a week.
Lunch came around, and for my first bit of fish, I was cooking shark. This is leftover shark that me and my brother caught when we did a survival challenge over in Bing Bong Bay. We made a full video on that as well, but here's how we caught the shark.
Come on! You're gonna have a fight bringing this guy in. He's big! Bring him in now, bring him in!
We are really gonna appreciate this meat tonight. This was paired with some veggies and of course one of the finest reds I could get my hands on. This vintage specifically pairs well with seafood due to the picture of the puppy on the label. This meal was 285 calories with 20 grams of carbs, 7 grams of fat, and 36 grams of protein if you don't include the wine. The 2 glasses of wine added an extra 300 calories. In the afternoon, I relaxed with a couple more glasses of wine. Before I knew it, it was time for dinner. I don't know if the wine's helping or hurting because after a couple glasses, I just start thinking about snacks. All right, dinner, exact same thing as lunch, but this time I've soaked the shark in milk. It'll help take care of some of the sharky flavor. Apparently this is supposed to make it taste a little bit better, and I'm probably gonna put breadcrumbs on them as well. Dinner was exactly the same as lunch with an extra 6 grams of carbs from the breadcrumbs and double the amount of wine. Splurged with some salt and pepper this time, and the breadcrumbs make it 100 times better. Let's get shredded. This ended up being 925 calories with 26 grams of carbs, 7 grams of fat, and 36 grams of protein. Well, delicious dinner, I'm not gonna lie. Still a little bit hungry, but I've got all the wine I can drink. That's allowed. Just probably gonna have this one last one and head off to bed.
You think, are you gonna wake up with hangover tomorrow?
We'll see. I haven't drank in a while, so.
Maybe.
And yeah, wine's, and I've almost finished the whole bottle. But tomorrow I gotta work, so I can't sit around drinking wine all day. Probably just 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 in the evening. Yeah, I get to eat all of the exact same things tomorrow. Only thing I'm really looking forward to is the tapioca. On day number 1, I consumed 1,984 calories with 101 grams of protein, 151 grams of carbs, and 20 grams of fat. Many of those calories came from the 6 glasses of wine that I drank. I woke up and discovered that I was already down 3 pounds. This diet is already working well. My breakfast was identical to the day before, and for my lunch, I subbed out the shark for a can of sardines. The main difference today was that I couldn't sit around drinking wine all afternoon. But why was the wine even included in this diet? Is it possible that it could help weight loss? Well, we've all heard that red wine contains polyphenols and antioxidants like resveratrol. And these compounds have been shown to activate the SIRT1 and AMPK pathways. And these are the pathways responsible for many of the positive effects of fasting. Not only that, but red wine has been shown to delay gastric emptying. So a glass of red wine with dinner will help you feel full longer. However, for me, the effect of alcohol seems to overpower this, and I end up wanting to eat more anyways. One of the biggest benefits might be the reduction in cortisol. During weight loss, especially extreme or prolonged weight loss, the body responds by producing the stress hormone cortisol. This means that many people will experience trouble falling asleep or staying asleep. The relaxation effect of the red wine might be just enough to overcome the negative effects of cortisol. However, the alcohol will definitely impact your sleep quality, so of course there's a trade-off there. But in my opinion, the most important aspect of including red wine is psychological. On any diet, you have to restrict yourself. But if the entire diet is restriction, you will eventually fail given a long enough time frame. To do a diet long term, you need something that feels like a cheat. Something that you can use when your willpower has been drained. On the carnivore diet, that might be some greasy bacon and cheese. And on the vegan diet, it might be something like a pint of dairy-free Ben & Jerry's. But on this diet, it's unlimited red wine. It's something that's agreed upon ahead of time that feels like a cheat, but it's still within the rules you've set for yourself. That's a huge psychological win by being able to cheat without actually cheating. Well, work was not too bad. It was actually a fairly decent lunch, but I'm off to jiu-jitsu now, and usually before I go to class, I have a little snack. And today, no snack. I was tempted to have a glass of wine, but something told me it wasn't a good idea. I'll save that for after. But training should go good. I've got salmon for dinner, and then I have a floor hockey game after that. Really putting this diet to the test. All right, jiu-jitsu class was good, but don't have much time before I have to run off to my hockey game. I'm gonna cook this piece of salmon. It's gonna be a delicious change up. Have a glass of pre-workout wine. All right, bottle of wine number 2. This is not the bottle that it says it is. This is some homemade wine from a good friend of the family. Let's hope this doesn't make me sick. It's actually delicious. Quite sweet. Nice work, Tony. Well, these vegetables are actually starting to grow on me. Pretty good. And this salmon, I'm super happy about. Only 5 ounces. I'm starving, but it's got a soy sauce and brown sugar glaze. Looks delicious. Incredible. I'm going to thoroughly enjoy this meal. It turns out red wine is actually a decent pre-workout, and when I got home, I was thoroughly exhausted. Well, game's all done. I am hungry and exhausted. Can't wait for tapioca tomorrow. On day number 2, I consumed 1,104 calories with 84 grams of protein, 127 grams of carbs, 34 grams of fat, and I drank 2 glasses of wine. Day 3, and I was down another 3.2 pounds. Nutrition-wise, it was another Groundhog Day. Another morning of egg whites, possibly the worst part of this diet. And now possibly the best part of this diet, the tapioca pudding. Got an even smaller spoon today. Really gonna savor this one. I sucked down some more sardines and veggies for lunch, but today I could really feel my appetite starting to build. The cravings were real today. You know you're starting to get hungry when sardines and steamed vegetables taste absolutely delicious. It's only been 3 days, but it's quite low calories and definitely starting to catch up to me. Need a little bit of a pre-workout snack today before jiu-jitsu, so cheers. I was feeling pretty tired today. Not sure if it's just because my sleep has been a little bit disturbed from wine or if it's just the lack of calories. I feel like I'm getting shredded though. The red wine works surprisingly well as pre-workout. This can be due to vasodilation and blood flow enhancement, which leads to improved oxygen delivery, nutrient transport, and muscle pump. But I think a glass of wine kind of just puts you in a good mood, and you can never underestimate the value of a good mood going into a workout. And it's not like I just discovered this myself either. The ancient Greeks used to drink wine and honey as pre-workout for some of the early Olympic Games. And I discussed this in one of my recent videos about history's strangest diets. Check that out. Well, it turns out red wine is actually a pretty decent pre-workout. But what's better than a pre-workout? It's a post-workout recovery drink. So today for dinner, I got barramundi. This is my first time trying barramundi. I was really hoping my first time would be when I actually caught one for myself, but unfortunately couldn't make it up north to catch one of these guys. One day though. My biggest issue is that the red wine seems to be the opposite of an appetite suppressant. You get a little bit hungry, have a little drink, and then suddenly I'm just smelling every snack in my entire house. At least it's very relaxing. Very first taste of barramundi. Let's give it a shot. The texture is amazing. Flavor is delicious, very mild. As far as fish goes, that's incredible. Well, I thoroughly enjoyed that meal, but I cannot say that I'm satisfied. This diet is definitely a grind. It's continual day in and day out hunger. Even right after I eat breakfast, I still kind of feel hungry. And that's the best meal of the day by far. Just plain steamed vegetables with sardines is like the most delicious lunch. And I've only been doing this diet for 3 days, but the weight loss is insane. If you desperately need to drop weight, this will get the job done. I do not recommend it, but it'll definitely work. The wine is definitely appreciated. I don't know if it helps the diet, but it was a good excuse for me to drink wine for 3 days in a row. Well, one more glass of wine, call it a night. On day 3, I consumed 1,792 calories with 100 grams of protein, 127 grams of carbs, 40 grams of fat, and I drank 2 glasses of wine. Well, 3 days on the AIDS diet complete. Can't say it was necessarily enjoyable, but the results were extremely drastic, especially for only 3 days. I learned a ton of new uses for red wine, both as a pre-workout and a post-workout, and somewhat of an appetite suppressant. Overall, the diet wasn't too bad. The red wine definitely made things a lot more enjoyable. But to do this diet for months on end and absolutely waste away would take an iron will and extreme dedication and focus. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna enjoy some good food now.
Clinically, on a cellular level, cellularly, my cells, whoa, gotta hut. And on a cellular level, like, leverage, insulation, libido, abominable snowman, insulation. Take a little bit of creatine, my triceps go bananas.